Knight's Order 14, and then down to Without a Fight at $12, Who You Mail at 15. By the numbers on turnover, these are the best backed runners. Realm of Flower 24, 8 Deauville Legend, 3 Knight's Order, 4 Montefilia, 6 Without a Fight, and 19 Smokin' Romans. Get your bets on and good luck.
Ed and Simon Crisford, the father-son combination have got Without a Fight, set to put up a fight in the Lexus Melbourne Cup. Ed's been good enough to join us. How you feeling?
Yeah, good. But more importantly, the horse seems in good order. He arrived here 3 hours ago. It's very different in England to here. Like in England, we go and stable them, and they're away from the crowd. But here, the crowd is seeing them, and they're tied up for a few hours. But he handled it extremely well. Couldn't be happier with him.
That's been one variable of the day to handle. The other has been the ever-changing complexion of the weather. Given the current state of the track, where does that put his chances?
Well, he's won soft twice as a 3-year-old at Newbury and Haydock in England, which in England, when it's soft there, it's real soft. It's not like here, you guys here. So I think he'll handle it. It's his first time running over 2 miles. But look, he's in great shape. Couldn't be happy with him. It's up to the jockey now.
And the jockey is William Buick, who's got experience in Melbourne Cups, this being his 5th ride in the race. Ideally, where does he have your horse positioned the first time going past the post?
Yeah, I want to go forward. He's sort of lights front running. I think we've got to be positive with him. And hopefully he's just got a good posse coming into the straight and he gets a clear run.
Ed, all the best.
Thank you very much.
Welcome in Danny O'Brien, who's got great experience in the Melbourne Cup, a previous win with Vow and Declare, and he's back to have another shot at the title. Danny, 3 years after winning the race, it's a different journey for the horse to the race, and it feels like an age ago, but how is he in comparison with his previous tilts?
Look, he's the best he's been since he won in 2019, so to present him as a 7-year-old today and hopefully back in the firing line, it's a great effort by all of our team.
What about the track for him?
Yeah, I'm glad it stopped raining. I think it's just a genuine soft 7, which he can handle. If it kept raining, it was going to get pretty dire. So the track's going to, I think, suit most of the horses.
You need every little edge to go your way in Melbourne Cups, as you well know, but even Blake Shin being prepared to ride a half kilo over is perhaps in some respects a little vote of confidence. Yeah,
he's very keen to ride the horse, and it's right at the limit for his weight. So we're prepared to give him the half kilo. I'd rather have him strong and in a ability to put himself in a finish than strain out for that last half kilo.
And a lot of people want to point to young Verta having only won a Geelong Maiden as a dent on his chances, but this has been a grand final you've had circled, not just for this preparation this year, but in some respects his entire career. Yeah,
I think you're right. Since he won that Maiden, we've really thought that he could develop into a Melbourne Cup horse. We didn't get there last year, but it was probably a blessing. He gets here today in the form of his life, and this is his chance. He's well weighted, and he's a horse that's going to run a peak right now.
With that said, does Damien Lane try and put him into the race?
I think he'll be midfield. If he get in that 3-wide trail and give him an efficient run, he'll be strong late.
Danny, all the best with both runners.
Thanks, Dave.
Melbourne Cup winning trainer Danny O'Brien there, and Dwayne Dunn. What's it like at this stage as a jockey ahead of the Melbourne Cup? Horses milling around behind the gates. I imagine this is where the pressure really ramps up.
It certainly does. As soon as you get leg to board in the mounting yard, that's when the nerves really hit you. You take them down to the start. The only thing going through your mind is get them there, don't fall off, make sure that you get to the start. That's one of the major boxes that's required to be ticked.
You've ridden in many a Melbourne Cup. Have you found horses that can really struggle with the huge crowd from that time once the jockey goes aboard, getting behind the gates? And have you had some that really struggled with that?
Some get a little bit hot, but what we'll find here is these European horses won't be used to, well, even the Australian ones. There'll be a big roar when those gates crash open the first time. Then they'll get another big roar when they go to the post. So if you've got a horse that gets a little bit keen in the run, that can tune them up and get them a little bit over racing. And then all of a sudden you swing out of past the post the first time and you go down the back, and then there's deadly silence. All you can hear is the horse's feet hitting the ground. Then you're starting to get into a nice rhythm, start breathing, and you haven't got long to catch your breath, and then all of a sudden the heat comes on.
Good luck all who have had a bet here or racing in the Lexus Melbourne Cup. Let's go to our caller, Matt Hill.
Cup as a last-minute pipe opener. Emissary, the Geelong Cup winner. 3 Geelong Cup winners have gone on to win the Cup. Who Ya Mal, Craig Williams, who won the race 3 years ago, goes in. Smokin' Romans for Jamie Carr is going into the stalls. Here's Kimura. for Ben and J.D. Hayes. Ben Mellum got quite close in 2017 when riding Johannes Vermeer. Realm of Flowers, Damien Thornton, heavily supported the mare, goes in. So they make a decent line of it as Arapaho is about to come forwards with also Numerian going in. Annabelle Neesham with the winner on the board today. There's Arapaho, Rachel King. High Emotion, the winner of the Bendigo Cup, now taking her position. Young Werther is about to load forwards. Young Werther, Damien Lane comes up. Tralee Rose about to join them, so they're getting very close. As the English Derby winner of a couple of years ago, Serpentine, and also Knight's Order are going to complete it towards the outside of the line. Serpentine moving in. Trained by Robert Hickmott, who trained El Mandan to victory. Montefilia goes up into barrier 11, and Knight's Order will be the final one. Knight's Order coming up to barrier number 22 with Tim Clark, and the field is locked away for the Lexus Melbourne Cup. Stand by for a start. They are ready. Locked away. Gates are back and they're racing. They're off in the Cup, and Knight's Order towards the outside. The best to jump with Vow and Declare. Due Smoke and Romans isn't too far away. And also Kimura showing speed without a fight. The International in the yellow jacket is also up there with the leaders across the track in the first 200 or 300 metres. Poking up as Grand Promenade from barrier number 1 also. Interpretation drives up to lead with Smoke and Romans, Vow and Declare and Grand Promenade. Kimura without a fight out even deeper. And Knight's Order's about 7 wide at this stage with Serpentine out there with him. They were followed by Vow and Declare, and back in the field Stockman and Dewis and Emissary from Huyamal. Then came Young Werther, who's a little keen 3 wide. Next in the field Realm of Flowers, and then came Gold Trip, High Emotion. Then Deshaun Sweet Jr. Second last off the rails is Montefilia, and at the end of the field settling down into stride is Arapaho as they leave the straight with 2,200 metres to run, and the favourite Deauville Legend midfield. So Smoke and Roman, Serpentine leave the running with Serpentine going to the lead. Interpretation third. They were followed by Kimura. Tralee Rose is off around them now 3 wide to improve her position. A length Grand Promenade without a fight. Numerian, a length Deauville Legend. Then came Knight's Order, who couldn't quite get in 3 wide. A length away Vow and Declare, Emissary. Next is Dewis Stockman, and then Huyamal. Realm of Flowers is one off the fence. Around that runner is Young Werther. Then came Gold Trip, Deshaun Sweet Jr., High Emotion, Montefilia, and at the end of the field in the Lexus Melbourne Cup is Arapaho. 1,600 metres to run, and the leader is Serpentine. By a length and a half, Tralee Rose. 2 further back in the field is Smoke and Romans getting a gun run on the outside of Interpretation. 3 lengths Kimura, a length Grand Promenade, and then came without a fight a length Deauville Legend tucked away on the fence. Knight's Order continues his run 3 wide. A length away Numerian midfield Dewis, and then came Emissary, Vow and Declare. Further back Young Werther, then Huyamal and Stockman. Next in the field Gold Trip, 2/3 down. Deshaun Sweet Jr. well back on the fence. Montefilia's getting moving. Then came High Emotion, Realm of Flowers, and Arapaho is last. Serpentine 1,000 metres to go. Just led from Tralee Rose. Knight's Order is going to try and set the cup alight and moves up 3 and 4 wide and goes to the front early. Smoke and Romans going with him. So as they reach the 800 metres, and Knight's Order has taken off 2 lengths in front of Smoke and Romans. Daring Tactics without a fight slid up to 3rd. Deauville Legend got to 4th. They were followed by Dewis, Tralee Rose in reverse. Then came Realm of Flowers to the outside. Next Young Werther, Gold Trip, but Knight's Order is going to try and break their hearts in the Lexus Melbourne Cup at the 450, led by 2 legs Smoke and Romans. Here's Deauville Legend presenting, and Gold Trip down the outside. Emissary is behind those. Gold Trip moves up, takes the lead from Deauville Legend. 250 metres to go. Emissary running on. Gold Trip, 150 metres to go, wandering about, getting tired. Emissary is trying very, very hard, but Gold Trip is brave. 100 to go, a length and a half Emissary. Gold Trip is going to win the Lexus Melbourne Cup. Gold Trip wins it in a real staying contest. contest for the ages. 2 legs Emissary, late third High Emotion, then Deauville Legend. Next to finish in the race, Realm of Flowers, Deshaun Sweet Jr. Then came Stockman, Vow and Declare Arapaho, Smoke and Romans, Knight's Order. Then Grand Promenade, Montefilia, Huyamal, Without a Fight, Young Verta, Tralee Rose, Duis, and some tired horses walking over the line. Numerian, Serpentine, and Camora will not complete the course.
The coronation of Kieran Maher and Dave Eustace is complete. Their 20th Group 1 in partnership is their biggest yet. The Lexus Melbourne Cup, the 162nd edition. They brought 5 horses to the race. They've claimed first and third. Gold Trip, the first horse in 5 years to run in the 3 majors, the Grand Slam, so to speak, of the Melbourne Spring. 5th, 2nd and 19th was Humidor back in 2017. First, 8th and 4th was Elvstrom in 2004. Gold Trip, so good, so tough in the Caulfield Cup when it took Durston to mow him down. He then came through an unlucky run in the Cox Plate, but as we've seen so often in recent years, it's not the placing, it's the subtleties of the performance in the Cox Plate that points to this race. And Gold Trip delivers Mark Zahra a win in the Melbourne Cup 2 years after his success aboard Very Elegant, last year's winner of this race in a Caulfield Cup. What a performance from Emissary, almost providing Mike Moroney with his second win of the race, powered home into second place off the Geelong Cup. And High Emotion, 6 days ago, a Bendigo Cup winner, has flown home as well to give the Mar Eustace team first and third. Deauville Legend was there to win, looked to present, turning for home, but in the end was mown down by 3 Australian-trained runners. 1:17.22.8, your numbers across the line in the 162nd Melbourne Cup.
What a stable. They're just so good at preparing these stayers, and Gold Trip, only a second career victory, but it comes in the Lexus Melbourne Cup. Mark Zahra in the stable. Emissary so good, but Dwayne Dunn, gee, the Mar Eustace team, they are just elite when it comes to preparing horses over a trip.
Certainly are, and I think just going through the Caulfield Cup running so well was like a barrier trial in the Cox Plate, just to keep his legs nice and warm and ticking over, and there's no doubt this was the target. But for him to win his second race and be a Melbourne Cup is outstanding. But there's 2 highlights to come out of it. It's Patrick Maloney running second on Emissary, gave it a sweet ride. I think he might have deleted a couple on the home bend there. He might have a little bit of trouble. And the other one was Theo Nugent on High Emotion, to come from so far back and charge. They're memories that they're going to take away from today's event, and yeah, good luck to them. But
all the thoughts of this horse that only won 1 race, that doesn't count for anything now. He carries the top weight and he roared to victory. What about the salute from Mark Zahra, high in the irons? He'll probably cop a small fine, but that'll be chicken feed for what he picks up here for this race. The crowning moment for his career, such a strong rider who, when you're the weight that he rides at, doesn't get that many opportunities on, you know, superb chances in a cup, because they generally are lower down in the weights. But he's been knocking on the door in a number of majors. He ran second in the Cox Plate. He was second in the Caulfield Cup. But that now will be all forgotten after he has the Melbourne Cup on his mantelpiece.
Oh, absolutely. He's a world-class jockey, and, yeah, as you alluded to, his weight's always been a little bit of a problem for you. But you get the added bonus when you get a horse like this, the right weight, you get the job done. He deserves everything he gets. He works very hard.
Look at these shots. We haven't seen it for a number of years. A big crowd, the riders celebrating with the people throwing the goggles into the crowd. This is what we all come to enjoy about Melbourne Cup Day.
Yeah, exactly. Fantastic to see. And he gave this horse a phenomenal ride, you know, 9.5 out of 10 in the Caulfield Cup. He was just beaten by one that had the 10 out of 10 and 6 kilos less at the weights. And he's given this an absolute terrific ride again. And you know, Mark Zahra getting back aboard. He couldn't ride the horse in the Cox Plate. I think was a significant part of the puzzle today, that Mark was able to take the ride and get the result.
Oh, most definitely. And I think that the favourite, Deauville Legend, I think this horse, Kieran McEvoy, gave him a sweet ride. He put him back down in rail, which you thought might have been a negative for him, but he probably just travelled a little bit too firm over this distance. He presented well at the top of the straight, and you thought, how far? But Kieran pressed his foot on the accelerator, and the cupboard was empty, and Gold Trip give him windburn on the way past.
Yeah, he certainly went straight past him. And well done to the Australian Bloodstock team. They won this race back in 2014 with Protectionist. They buy a lot of horses from all over the globe, sourcing a lot of horses from Europe. They pay big money for this horse, and there was plenty of knockers saying, have they paid too much for it? He's, you know, is he going to be up to our standard? Is he going to have what it takes? They had the disappointment of last year. He was set for a Cox Plate, and he was scratched by the Racing Victoria vets only the days leading up. There was a lot of sort of angst about that decision. They've had to wait a long 12 months. They missed the autumn with him, but they've reaped the rewards here. Second in a Caulfield Cup, an unlucky